Hello guys, good morning.
Good morning, Naveen.
Yes, hello, please.
Yeah, hope I am audible. Hello.
Yeah, Naveen. Yes.
Okay. So let me share my desktop. Okay. I hope you attended yesterday's session and previous sessions. Maybe you might went through videos. Once again, let me show you the yesterday two slides. Quickly, just let me walk through it. Okay. Yeah, so this is the Spring content that we are going to cover. Spring Framework, Spring Boot, and microservices. And first fundamentals we will learn from Spring Core module. Fundamentals are very, very important, and each module on top of these fundamentals will be simple and easier. So these are like keywords. You can consider Spring keywords or Spring annotations, the way of coding in Spring. Okay, we will learn them step by step here in the core module, and the rest of module will become easier, butter smooth. Okay, basically, right, when we implement or when we plan a application, either it can be a simple standalone or any web application or any big scale web application with enterprise modules or a business application. Okay, so application can be any type. Okay, any type of application, a real business application or a simple web application or a blog kind of thing. Okay, or a application which is running in a single machine like standalone, whatever it is. For doing coding, right, for writing coding, we will follow MVC architectural design pattern, model view controller architectural design pattern, right? So what advantages we will get if we go with MVC? Without MVC, if we write, will there be any problems? One problem you can see easily, right? Without MVC, if you write code without MVC or without having this architecture pattern, also you can write the code, but your code will become clumsy and not easy maintainable. Today you will work on one application and tomorrow you will change the company. If somebody deploy on that application, they should understand what you have done. If you write everything together, some UI logic, some controller logic, some DAO logic, some business logic together into one single class, and if you club everything together, it will be very difficult to others to understand. So your code is not easy maintainable if you don't follow MVC architecture. Not only that, not only easy maintainable, not only easy to read. In future, when you want to discard something and if you want to adopt new technologies, I observed that my DAO part is getting very slow with the existing database. So I want to change this part. Only this part I want to change. So when I want to do that change, if you already followed MVC architecture and if you have implemented, it's easy for me so that I can remove only this layer and I can adapt a new layer. If you buy a car with the fixed wheels or fixed tires, you can't change them. But have you seen any car which is having fixed wheel? No. You can easily remove nuts and bolts and we can remove the existing wheel and we can add a new wheel when it gets damaged. Similarly, in phones also nowadays, if you see, we can easily remove existing SIM cards and we can adopt a new SIM card. Why can't we adopt such things in software domain? when you implement an application, in your application, if something is not going well, or if you want to adopt new thing to bring your application up to the market, your application also should be in a position to support that. So something I want to remove and something new I want to adopt it. So if you have, or if you followed MVC architecture before to your application, and if you have designed your application, in separate layers, removing a layer and adopting new layer will be easy. So easy maintainable. And the same pattern Spring also followed, and they made it more easy. They made it more easy between layers, right? Before Spring Framework, we don't have that much easiness to discard one layer and to adapt new layer. But Spring made it very simple by following a inversion control pattern, IOC pattern. By using IOC pattern, they made it very simple. So why Spring became more popular here in MVC in terms of maintainability, right? When you implement application using Spring, right, we can easily discard existing things and we can adopt new things without damaging the other part. You will understand that later, okay? You will understand that later. But any application, right, we follow MVC architecture. As for MVC architecture, okay, M for model, view for view, M for model, stands for view, C stands for controller. So view will have presentation logic where end user will access the application and he will interact with it. So we do good UI UX here, lot of colors, shades, graphics, everything we put here. Okay, but this only view code will not have any dynamic functionality. To get the dynamic functionality, okay, or to interact with the databases, alone UI can't able to interact. So we need some backend technology to help there. Okay, so whenever we submit front-end request via HTTP protocol, backend side web servers will help us to decode HTTP protocol data and exchange it to your programming language, whichever you use, Java or .NET, whatever it is. So this protocol data will be converted in the form of objects and it will be shared with your controllers. From here, controller, all are Java classes if we talk it in Java, right? So we will implement one Java class here for controller purpose. The purpose of controller is just it will read the data which is coming from front end and it will send it to model layer. Finally, it will give response back to front end. Okay, whatever response you need. Once submitting name, email address, I want to show registration success. You can log in, some kind of message I want to show, or I want to redirect a login page here and I want to ask user to log in and try. Whatever I want to do, I can do from here after done with registration. For an example, right? So controller, once it read data from front end, it will send it to business layer. Here we perform all the business operations. Let's say if this use case is for doing fund transfer or purchasing an item in online or ordering a food or if you want to watch a movie, whatever it is. Okay, so when you try to deal some business related operations here, let's say you want to purchase some items, you added them into cart and finally you try to check out, the business will do calculations, what is the each item price and what is the discount price for each item and what is the total amount, right? All that stuff it will perform here. All that aggregations, calculations, arithmetics, everything we perform here. Once done with everything, to persist the data or to fetch the data, we use data DAO help, data access object. DAO stands for, okay, so we will take DAO help to persist data into databases, where in DAO we perform all the CRUD operations, right? Create, retrieve, update, delete, anything from the database we deal via DAO. So we divide basically application into 4 parts, okay? Presentation, view, controller, business, DAO. So business DAO, you can consider they are part of model, okay? As per MVC architecture, we divide code in such a way: presentation layer separately, controller separately, business code separately, DAO code separately, so that your code is easy maintainable. Without this also you can write together everything, but the problem is If somebody try to look into your application, they can't understand anything. Okay, so it will take months to years to learn what you have done. If you go with MVC architecture, easily they will understand. You will put controller classes into a controller folder, business classes into a business folder, DO class into a DO folder. So directly, if I join new to this application, I can go to controller and I can understand, okay, these all classes are helping for front end. And I can visit business package and I can see, okay, I can understand these classes are for business purpose. By visiting DO package, I can see all the DO class and I can understand all these classes are for database operations purpose. And if there is any change comes in on the existing pages, or if a new page, if client asks us to add, I can go and easily add new page and new controller, new business and new DO. Okay, so still your application is easy maintainable if you go with MVC architecture. So to design applications in MVC architecture, now we are learning Spring, but before Spring, don't we have any alternatives? Yes, we have so many alternatives in Java. Before, almost 2000, from 2010, it became more popular. Okay, Spring became more and more popular. Before that, we have other frameworks, Struts, JSF, and Servlets, Jdbcs, different stuff we have, okay, to implement MVC based applications. And for front end also, right, nowadays Angular, React, and this mobile application became more popular. But before them, okay, we used to write views in simple HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and jQuery. Later, advanced TypeScript, frameworks came, Angular and React, to help the presentation part. And nowadays, for mobile based applications, we are using for Android and iOS, the particular UI we are building on that so and so Android platform or iOS platform, a UI we are building. And basically, business logic will not resides in Android application or iOS application. Again, they will connect with the backend applications, which may build it on Java or .NET, PHP, Python, whatever it is. Okay, so backend side, earlier we used to use servlets. They are the first modules given in JRE, servlets. Servlets were the first one who helped for the controllers since 1999 or 98. Servlets came into the market. They are at powerful, but a lot of code and lot of stuff we need to write. Okay, so slowly on top of servlets, a lot of frameworks were built. They made this controller part simple. Uh, which of one the famous is Struts framework. Struts was very popular during that period from 2000s to almost 2010. Later, it went to end of life. Uh, because Spring became more popular and easier, and it given a lot of solutions. So slowly Apache, stopped the Struts, and no applications are running now. But whichever applications designed, during that period, maybe few applications still might be running if they don't have any changes. Okay, and business part used to implemented using EJBs. They are very difficult components in terms of maintainability, right? Once you design your business classes, DO classes using EJB entity beans and EJB session beans, they are not easy to run. We need to run that EJB classes into special containers, application servers we need. Okay, so they are very difficult for small scale enterprises. They are not helpful. So the people whoever worked on EJBs, they understand the problem of a small scale industry, and they started redesigning the similar frameworks with open source and without the dependencies of containers. So the alternate for EJB entity beans are designed by Gavin King. He named it Hibernate. So Hibernate became so popular still for today, right? It is very popular framework, Hibernate, for doing DAO operations. Okay, it is built on top of JDBC only, but JDBC we write everything. We write everything, every CRUD operation, save or update or delete. And beyond that, we don't have much support in JDBC, but Hibernate made it simple. Okay, and lot of features. a lot of features, hundreds of features given on top of JDBC to make DAO operations simple, easier, and easy maintainable and easy fetch. A lot of things, okay, as part of Hibernate that you can see. And for EJB session beans not at all required. When we thought of distributed applications, you know, when we have huge business logic, huge number of applications wanted to deploy in different servers, people thought of EJBs to talk one server code with another server code. But nowadays we don't have that dependency. Web services came into the market, right? Now REST-based web services are very famous, but before we have RPC style and SOAP-based style web services. Okay, nowadays REST was very popular. We are using REST-based services. So session beans are not at all required. Spring is having that REST support, and it became simple. It was very complicated, and they made it simple. Like you feel like you are writing a simple core Java classes while writing a Spring-based application. You feel like a core Java class. You don't feel that you are writing, a big scientific logic. So all keywords are simple and you feel like a core Java logic. So Spring given alternate everywhere for controller part, business part, DO part, everywhere. They given alternates and they made it simple actually. They made it simple as an alternate. What they proposed is nothing. They asked you to, as a developer, right? You just need to focus on your business logic. That's it. And controller logic, DO logic. Apart from that, you need not to bother about framework logic. On the fly, it will apply features to you. On the fly, it will apply features to you, which means just you need to put a Spring framework as part of your application and basic syntax you need to follow. That's it. All the features it will add to your framework. All the features it will add to your framework without your uh, coding or without you putting a lot of effort on it. On the fly it will apply. You will realize it how it is applying. Okay. And to understand all these modules which are helping for controller business DAO, you need to learn the basics of Spring Core first, so that it will be easy to you to understand the remaining modules across the Spring framework, Spring Boot microservices, right? They will become easy once you understand core module. That's why I'm saying core module is the foundation module. There you need to learn all the fundamentals first. Okay. Any questions so far? Maybe if no questions, you may type no in the chat box. Yeah. So if no questions, I'll proceed. Okay. Yeah. So to get more understanding, right, how foundation module or core module will help us here. Okay. Once again, I'll rewrite here MVC architecture. See how we will write in Spring. Okay. What Spring is saying, the basic fundamental, right? The first fundamental Spring is saying, the first fundamental Spring is saying, the first thing it is saying, leave about front end. We are not bothering about front end here. We are not at all bothering about front end. Okay, as a Spring developer, our focus is on complete backend. If you want to struggle with the front end, okay, go with HTML, Angular stuff, okay, or React, or you can learn any mobile technologies, mobile UI technologies you can learn. Okay, so that is a different part, view part. Our focus is on complete backend part. Can't we integrate with front end? Means yes, we can integrate. We need to help. Or if you are a full stack developer, you should have both skills, front end and back end. Okay. So front end, I don't feel that it is much difficult if you use HTML. And it is little difficult if you go with Angular and React, little difficult. They are also not too difficult. Maybe a 10-day sessions might help you to understand what is React, what is Angular, and you might code in that technologies as well. Okay. So least bothering about front end technologies because they don't have much learning curve. Easily you can learn them and they will run alone in your browsers itself. Now coming to backend, there backend developers are getting more pay because you have little more work to perform here. But Spring made it simple. Earlier, really you need to spend a lot of time to implement. Spring made it simple. What Spring is saying, either you are implementing a controller class, a business class, or a DAO class, okay? Whatever your class you are implementing, controller or business DAO, first they are saying, make it as a POSO class, simple POSO class. Create your class as a simple POSO. POSO means a simple Java class. Plain old Java object. Plain old Java object. Plain Java class in other terms. Plain Java class. First they are asking, learn first fundamental. The first fundamental. Correct me if spelling is wrong, okay? So the first fundamental they are saying, learn POSO class. Learn how to create POSO class. Learn how to create POSO class. This is the first fundamental that you should learn. How to create POSO class? It's a simple Java class. It's a simple Java class, as I told you yesterday, right? A simple Java class, public class test. A simple Java class. Let me increase the font size. A simple Java class, okay? A simple Java class. Usually we will put classes under a package. Package com.rbu. Depends on application name. We put company name dot application name. Okay, if it is something student management system, SMS. Under a package, you will write a Java class, simple Java class, which can have variables. Here you may declare variables, and you can have methods, and you can have constructors. I don't think I need to teach what is constructor, what is method, and what is variable. I hope you all better know them before Spring itself. In CoreJava itself, we learn what is variable, what is method, what is constructor. Maybe if you are coming from different technologies, you need not to bother. Already you must aware of them. So every class will have what? Always variables, methods, constructors. Depends on the task that you have given. That task will be converted into a class, right? Why we write classes? For our tasks only. Whatever use cases client has given, for that use cases only, we will write classes. So in that class, for the task related or for the task purpose, whatever variables required, that variables we put here and methods we put here. And if at all constructors required, constructors we put. That's it. So you can consider this class as a simple POSO class. A simple POSO class. But I know that already. Good. If you know that already, good. You understand something 5% of Spring. You understand 5% of Spring here. 5% of Spring already you understand. If you know what is POSO class. Because across controller business DAO, we implement POSOs only. We implement simple POSOs only with required variables, methods, constructors. On top of it, slowly we will add one by one features. Okay, one by one we will create or we will add features. The next thing, next fundamental that we are going to learn here is how to create POSO class objects. The next fundamental, how to create object for POSOs. This is the next thing that you are going to see. How to create objects for POSOs. If you understand this, then 10% more of Spring, you can understand that 10% more of the Spring you understand by this time. How to create objects for these POSO classes. Generally, you know that to create object for any class in CoreJava, okay, in CoreJava, how we create object. If you know all S, how to know, mention S in the chat. If you all know how to create object in CoreJava, mention S. Only 1, 2, 3. How to create object. Okay, I'll tell you. In CoreJava, basically, how we will create object. I want to run this class. I want to run this class methods. What we will do, we will write one more class, public class, one main method class we will write, or from anywhere. Just I'm giving a main method example. There we will write public static void main string array of arguments, and here we create object in CoreJava. In CoreJava, here we create object. How we create object? Test reference variable, any name, t equal to new test. The great keyword from Java, which is helping a lot, is new keyword. So using this new keyword, we will create object, your class name and one variable reference name to use it further, whichever object you are creating. Reference name and the new keyword. This keyword is going to help you a lot here to create this class object. Creating object means what? Whatever code you have written here, that code will start loading into your computer. Here it will start loading into your computer. Your logic load into machine here. Here actually it will take place. It will load into your machine and it will create object for it. It will create an object for it. Whatever logic you have written, that logic will load into your RAM and it will ready to perform your tasks, calculations, whatever it is you have mentioned here. Okay. So from here you will get control of this code or class using this t variable reference. Now you can call any method, and whatever logic there in that method will be executed as soon as you call it. So this is how we create object. This is how we create object. If you know how to create object, then the 10% more also you understand. Okay. From Spring, almost you understand 15% from your core Java itself. 15%, almost 15% you understand from your core Java itself. Basically, you know how to create poser class and you know how to create objects. But now, what Spring is telling, Spring saying, you don't worry, you don't struggle to create these objects. You don't do this object creation yourself. Instead, you doing it, I'll do it for you. I'll do a favor to you. I'll create it for you to make things speed. You just focus on your poser classes creation. Wherever you want, ask me, I'll give you this object. Wherever you want object, ask me, I'll give you object. So from now onwards, you imagine that Spring is a helper for you, a helper for you. You know, you imagine your code in CoreJava only. You imagine your code in CoreJava only and you implement it. Wherever you need help, ask Spring. It is going to provide you whatever things you ask. What things I need to ask? I need to implement controller business DO. What else I need? Yeah, you can implement them. You can implement them. But when you want data from front end to back end, or when you want to establish communication between these layers, who will help there? Spring will come into the picture and it is going to help you there. What? Without using Spring, if I implement lot of code, for same code you need to spend 30 days, where if you use Spring you may finish it in 1-2 days. So it's your choice. You want to go with Spring or not, it's your choice. Not your choice, your team choice. If your team decides that no, Spring is not required, So then your budget will increase from 10 lakhs to 10 crores. Definitely, management will not happy there. Okay. And they will deploy only Spring teams and they will remove from you there. If you still tell them that I'll write it in old technologies. Because a lot of budget we can save, a lot of time we can save. And your application also is easy maintainable for future. Then why should they take challenge with old frameworks? And implementation also very simple. A 1+ guy can perform the same thing like a 10+ person, 10+ or 15 years guy, whatever he is doing, a 1+ guy also perform the same thing. Because earlier a 10+ or 15+ guy used to apply all the best design patterns and he used to implement them. But Spring brought everything without you put, you put zero efforts, though it is providing lot of design patterns internally to make your application a standard application. So though you are a fresher or whoever, by using Spring, when you implement application, all the best practices it will apply on your application. So I don't want much skills. All the skills already there in the Spring. It is applying for me. So the same quality of code I can get. Why it became popular, I'm telling you, if you can observe, if you understand. So everyone can deliver the same quality here. If you understand this strong fundamentals, how we are creating poser class, how they will talk each other, how this object Spring is creating internals, how Spring creating objects, and how Spring helping to exchange the information between these layers. If you understand all that stuff, it's not a rocket science. Maybe a fresher or a non-technical guy also easily they can understand if they know what is Java class, what is object, the basic things if they know. Okay, that much easy the framework is. Now, as I said, the first statement, Spring is going to create object. So you need to understand how Spring is creating object. How Spring create objects. So the basic object creation, if you understand, you got 10%. If you understand how Spring creating object, then 10 more percent of Spring you understand. If you understand this one also, how Spring creates objects. I will go and create one simple example for you quickly, okay? So what I will be using here is, we will be using IDEs, okay? If I write code without IDE, nobody accepts, okay? Write using IDE. Before IDEs, we used to use notepads, but don't spend a lot of time writing logics in notepads. Use IDE, Eclipse or STS. First get this Eclipse tool, okay? Download Eclipse latest version and download JDK 8, okay? First JDK 8 download. I can give you that links if you need how to download. I can give you JDK link and Eclipse links, okay? One session I'll take how to download and install them, okay? And I can help you with the first 1-2 projects, okay? I can help you first 1-2 projects, how to create and how to run, okay? Yeah. So let me open Eclipse. Let me open Eclipse. Spring Jan 24 launch. Okay, we are going to learn the third fundamental. Okay, so first fundamental, how to create poser class, need not to teach. How to create object, need not to teach, because you know them. So if you know them already, 15% of logic how to create. Now I'll show you how to create object using Spring. Okay, don't worry, we will do depth discussion once regular session starts, but to give you a glimpse, right, how it is working, a simple example I'll give you so that you will get more interest. I'm creating a Java project here. Lot of project types we have, out of which choose Java project. Next, create object using Spring. Create object using Spring. Usually we don't put such a naming convention for project. Okay, we put application name like student management system. If it is student management system, SMS. If it is a banking credit card management system, CMS. Like that we put shorthand names. Okay, I'm creating with a title. Don't worry about it and you don't follow it. Just to maintain order, right? I'm creating it. So you choose whichever Java environment you want. I have up to 12, 17, up to 17 I have, but for a few days we will do coding in 1.8 only. That is the major version from the Java. So we should learn things on Java 8. Okay. Now I just created a project. I just created a project. Which project it is? When you create a project, it is a simple CoreJava project. See first two things, okay? How to create poser class and how to create object for it. Okay. So first I'm creating a package here. Without packages also people will start coding classes, but don't do that. Okay. So learn a practice, always keep your classes into packages. Okay. Without packages, we never put classes. Okay. So use always packages. Something student management system. Package name I created. Inside package, now you can write a poser class. So I'll be writing a simple poser class student. Let me increase the font size. Are you all active? Type active. Okay. So I have a poser class here. I have a poser class here. Simple student poser class. So I think all of you are aware that you know what is Java class. A simple Java class, public class student. Okay. Here I have a variable. You know how to create variables. String name. I'm mentioning one name from this list. Amit. Okay, Amit. Okay. So now I want to print this name, display this name, public void print name. System.out.println student name is equal to plus name. So whatever name I have here, it will print. So this is my poser class, a simple poser class, a variable and a method I have here. So this is simple poser class. So you achieved the first one. Understand that? How to create poser class. Yes, I understand. Then what next? How to create object for it? How to create object for it? The next step, how to create object for it? A main method class. I'll create a main method, public static void main. What I need to do here? The main method is like a main switcher for Java coding or Java execution. From here only, Java code starts execution. That's why we need main method. And here, how to create object? The next challenge is create object. We know that. We know that very well. We can create it. Student reference variable is equal to new keyword and call default constructor. Student is student equal to new student. This is a reference variable. Okay. Imagine when code starts execution by the line number 7, right? It reaches, this code will be loaded into your machine. Now, once loaded into your machine, you can perform your methods or whatever it is, right? Once loading into machine only, we can able to perform methods execution or anything. So I'm calling printer name. Okay. So now if I run this, user run as Java application, it is printing student name is equal to Amit. Bus, I understand the second step also, how to create POSO class objects. I understand it. Now in Spring, how to create this object, we will see. In Spring, how to create this object, we will see. Instead, you doing this stuff, Spring will do it for you. Once Spring creating it, I will expect some question and I'll give you answers there, okay? Create object. Okay, in this example itself, I'll show you. One more main method class I'll take. One more main method class I'll take using Spring main method. Here by using Spring, I'll create that object. Using Spring, I'll create that object. Be patient, okay? Be patient. We need to have one XML file for that purpose. We need one XML file that purpose. Why we need? I have only one class now, student, so that I can create it quickly. As you are seeing, simple example, you have one class, but when you think of the application, a real-time application, it will have thousands of classes, okay? Thousands of classes. Where do we configure them? Where we do configure them? In olden days, we used to configure them in a XML file. We configure them in a XML file. We used to create a separate folder. Nowadays, we are not using this XML, but I'm showing you the old approach so that easily you can understand. We used to create one Spring XML file. There we used to configure all our POSO classes. Okay. Old approach to new approach I will drive so that you will get a better understanding. And as I want to use Spring-based libraries, I need to add them. Spring jar files. Spring support I need here. Earlier I am using only CoreJava so that I need not to bother. But as I want to add Spring here, Spring framework here, how to add Spring framework to this existing project? Just you need to go to build path, configure build path. In this libraries, you need to add Spring libraries. I have all these Spring 3 version libraries, so I am adding them so that the Spring framework added to my application. Okay, so Spring framework is added. Simple. I went to libraries and I added it. Fine. And to use XMLs, right? To use XML basically meant for doing a better configurations. Okay, so better configurations. So while doing Spring-based configurations, right? Mistakenly, you should not use different tags. Mistakenly, you should not use different tags. So to control that, we need to put DTD here so that it will not allow you to do mistakes. Okay, it will not allow you to do mistakes. So we will add DTD here. I'll explain you, okay, in detailed everything, okay, we will see once we start regular sessions. So this DTD will not allow you to write or to do mistakes here. It will even suggest you to use which tags that you can use here. Beans. Beans is the main root tag. In between beans and beans, we configure bean tag. ID, one identical name like student, and the class name. Complete package name com.rbu dot student management system dot complete class name we put. Okay, this is the first thing that we do. We create a XML file. There we configure this bean. Like student, I have many classes. Like student class, I have course class, I have teacher class, trainer class, a trainer class I have. Yes, you can configure all that classes. Trainer class, I have some books classes. You can have all that classes here in your application. If you have hundreds of classes, you can bring all that hundreds of classes here. But that is very difficult. Later Spring realized and they avoided that. Without you configuring it also, they are understanding it. Okay, in advanced concepts we will see. Okay, now earlier I created this student class object using simple CoreJava approach with the new keyword. Now in Spring, how to do that? Spring, how to do that? Okay, I'll show you in Spring how to do that. Application context. New class path, XML, application context. A helper class which is going to help you here. This is the Spring helper class which is helping you to create objects. Instead, it will do it for you. Spring.xml. So in this XML file, I have my student class. Now run this one. Before running it, right? Before running it, to observe whether your object is creating or not, just to override default constructor. Basically, we need not to write. We need not to write during coding, but just I'm overriding. By default, this will be provided by Java, but I'm overriding to show you this code is executing without your intervention. Student object created here. Run this first CoreJava example and see. As soon as it reaches this statement, right, it will execute the output which we have added there. Student object created here. When it is executing, when you did this call, inside this constructor, you have this statement, student object created. Okay, this is in CoreJava. I know that very well. What about in Spring? Now in Spring, I'm not creating anything here. No student object, nothing creating. Just using a Spring helper class and loading the XML file. And in this XML file, I have configured my bean class, but I don't know how it will perform. Run it and see. How surprisingly student object created here. Your constructor is executing, but I did not mention anything here now. I did not mention anything here in this main method. Like here in this main method. Here I used a new keyword, but here I am not using it. In Spring main method, I'm not using it. Though you are not writing this code, just commented it. Though you are not writing this code also, it is showing you the output. Student object is created. Who is doing that? Spring is doing that. You are not doing it now. Spring is doing that. So that's what Spring is saying. You focus on poses. I'll give you results. Like God says, you do your work. That's it. Results I'll give you. You just focus on your business. The rest I'll take care. Spring is doing that for you. You just focus on your classes, objects creation, and linking that classes. Everything it do for you. My statements might confuse you, but once after a few examples, clear picture you will get. Okay, why Spring is doing it in a single session, as I can't make you realize everything, but once you see after a few sessions, maybe after 5 or 6 sessions, you will realize end-to-end picture. Okay, this is why Spring introduced this feature here. That's why it is making application simple, logically. Okay, we will understand that stuff. Spring is easy. If you understand this example, almost you understand 25% of Spring. The rest only we need to learn. Clear? Now, if you need that student object it is creating, but how I need to ask Spring? As I said, you right, everything you need to ask Spring. Whatever you required, you ask Spring, it will provide to you. I need a student class object, either with this one or by giving ID. Student ID from XML file, if you give, it will give you student object. You got the object here. Now you can call the print name method. Like whatever you performed in CoreJava, same thing it is performing here. Student object is created here and student name printing. What is the difference? I can do it in CoreJava also now. You may do argument here. Yes, you can do, of course. But see the problem. I don't have much skills. I started coding. I created 3 objects or 10 objects or 20 objects of the same thing to print the name. Accidentally, unknowingly, or intentionally, I did that. So it is created 3 objects. Student object 1 created, 2 created, 3 created. Do you see any problem here? If you don't know much about Java or about memory management, you don't see any issue. You will see that, okay, code is executing fine, right? What is the issue? No issue if that is your statement. But the problem is it is creating many objects unnecessarily. It is consuming some memory in my RAM. So if you have a small application like this and accidentally if you create 1-2 objects, it is okay. But when you imagine an application is having thousands of classes, if you create thousands of unnecessary objects, unnecessarily it will consume lot of megabytes or gigabytes of memory in your server machine and your application will go down. Always it will show rotating symbol. Loading, loading, loading. Choosing great server will not give performance. Writing best code will give best performance. So here, how I can control it? In CoreJava, you can't do that. You need to learn design patterns. That's where I'm saying you need to, practice design pattern for next to 3 years. After 3 years, maybe you learn with a singleton pattern and you realized everything and you can apply that. How to create one object instead of many objects. Though intentionally, if I try to create it also, it need to deliver one object. Maybe after 3, 4 years, 5 years, you realize that. But in Spring, from day one, it will make sure that it will not fall you into bad practice. Though you call it for 3 times, 10 times, or 100 times, Spring is not going to create that many objects. It knows that developer need not to tell everything. As I know that one single object is sufficient, Spring will create one single object for you. And this code might be executed daily, 1 lakh times per month, 30 lakhs times. If it is a plain CoreJava approach, you might have created 30 lakh objects unnecessarily. Your RAM, your processor always will run, and the server side, server fan running, heat generating, a lot of memory consuming. Application may go down. For simple class, why I need 30 lakhs objects? If I would have used Spring, one object it might have created. So lot of such, patterns internally it will cover to make your application industry standard application without you knowing much design patterns. Internally it covers. A singleton pattern is covered here. A singleton pattern is covered here. Singleton means one object only. That is covered. But did you write any code for that? No. Spring did that for you. Such advantages. It is a small, you may consider 0.0001 feature from Spring. Such lot of features they give it. If you think from that point, right, what there before and how Spring is giving solutions now, you really, enjoy it. And you will really surprise with Spring, how Spring is doing all this. But once after this session, you realize, okay, Spring can do all this stuff easily. and internals of Spring also, you will understand. Okay, not too difficult, but from your point or from your side, if I sit and listen, maybe I might feel a little struggle, but even in my practice, right, or in my teaching, you don't see such struggle also. I'll make things very simple. Okay, or not too technical, I'll speak here, but you will get that complete technical knowledge with a simple statements. Okay, so from beginner level to expert level, we will go by the time we reaches microservices. Okay, any questions? Yeah, so yeah, great. So I'll share you this link one more time. Please, guys, join this WhatsApp group. And if you're really interested to continue, few people have done with their payments and few still to do their payments. Please do payments, okay, by today and get the regular link so that confidently I can start the regular session. Okay, we need not to struck between demos. That's my sincere, advice. Uh, please go through this once again in WhatsApp. Also, I'll share them. If you have any issues, right, you can text me in WhatsApp so that I'll follow up. Okay. So their Google Pay number, phone pay number, and account details I'll share you. And still, if you have any issues, you can reach out to me. I'll help you how to do the payments and how to get the regular links also. Okay, I'll be your single point of contact for anything, right? You guys can reach out to me anytime for anything. You need not to chase admin people. Sometimes they might be busy with other follow-ups or other things. So yeah, that is one more advantage that you'll see here. For everything, I'll be your single point of contact for session related or payments related or for anything later, for videos or for access or for books. You can reach out to me anytime. Our group will be there for lifetime so that you can interact with me anytime during your practice, maybe not now, after 1 month or 2 months, or during your coding somewhere if you struck anything, right? I'll be there for you. Okay, so that's it for today. So yeah, now session is open for you. You can ask any questions if you have.
Yeah, hi Naveen.
Yes, Vasu.
So we have very few people, right? Still, you will maintain the same consistency in delivering the content and everything.
Wait. Yeah, yeah, Vasu. Actually, many people will join even once we start regular section also, right? At least 30 people will be here. But yeah, of course, if we have many people, then the deal is different. But don't worry about it. Okay, other people will join here.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We have very few people, right? I don't have any issue with your. I mean, yeah, I'm very much comfortable with you. But the thing is here, like going forward, if you see the strength and going down, and
No, no,
maybe
no, no such
10,
thing
10.
will happen because uh, once the regular session started, previous batches videos also I'll share with you.
Okay.
Then you can do counter attack. You may ask, that topic is discussed, why is not discussing here? This is how you discuss there. Why no, no, I'll share everything to make people proactively learn everything. And sometimes they will counter chase me and ask new things also, which even I don't know. Then I used to learn and I used to bring up here and teach it. I'm very passionate to do this teaching. And not for the much earnings here. If you see, what I can say, I'm not getting much from these sessions, but I'm earning a lot in terms of knowledge. Okay.
Understood. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we also
New
need
things
same thing.
always. Yeah,
Yeah,
always I learn new things, and I used to present here. Sometimes when I take gap, right, 6 months or 1 year gap, when I plan to learn myself new technologies, I'm not doing anything. Just I'm being relaxed and watching movies, doing all that stuff. But if I actively being in the session, I'm learning new things and adding them here and sharing my knowledge with others and improving a lot from my side as well. You see, as I'm
Right,
in a
right.
crucial phase, I'm changing my role to architect. I want to explore so many things. Without these sessions or teaching, it is not possible for me, to be frank.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
where I'm having advantage.
Got it.
Yeah, other
Got it.
people will join here. Don't worry.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
is
I don't have any issue. I mean, whether people join or not,
no,
I
they will
don't
join.
know.
At least, right? At least 20 people to 30 people for every batch I used to have. Last batch, 50 people are there. And
Okay.
project session was more than 40 plus. This is festival season, no? Almost for
Right.
this southern states.
No, no, no.
So
Just I
they will
got
be
doubt saying like, I
no,
I
no,
hope you got my point, right? Like,
correct,
say, I
correct.
mean, one to
No,
one, if even one student also, you will able to continue the session, right?
yes.
That's what, yeah.
But usually we will have more than 20, 30 people. Maybe after this Monday, the people will join here. Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, okay.
Okay. This
No,
is festival time now, especially here in the States. So they will take time. Maybe
no,
later they'll join here.
right, right. Okay, Naveen. I mean,
But
today
from
I'll
other
pay.
faculty also people will come here
Okay.
who are done with their advanced Java. Few people,
Mm-hmm.
not many,
Okay.
because some people are some trainers are taking longer duration for this same content, or maybe they may go much in deeper um, with a different kind of practice. But whoever feels that they are taking longer time, 6 months, 1 year, uh, those people also will consider my sessions and come here uh, because we make things simple and cover it in 40, 50 sessions itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Um,
Yeah. So any questions technically apart from this?
yeah, that's it. I mean, I got today's session is very interactive and I mean, I understand very well actually.
Yeah, the pain I will understand. Basically, I'll consider everybody new here uh, from very basics of Java to I'll try to bring up to my
Yeah, I
knowledge.
used to if you listen Spring Boot means I mean some sort of shivering.
Personal experience again and again. I'm sharing it. I visited Bangalore in 2014 or 15 to give the weekend workshop, 2 days only. I used
Okay.
to take for Spring, all Spring 7 modules I used to cover. 15
Mm-hmm.
people came from Bangalore
Okay.
in Maratali, somewhere DURGASOFT have a place there. I given training 2 days. After
Oh,
2 days session, one guy, he stood up and clapping and saying, we thought, here people are making Spring is this, that, and they are
yes.
charging 40,
Yes.
50,000. We very, felt that Spring is not easy to learn. But once we came here, how we made it so simple? Nothing, man. Spring is nothing. He's saying it's simple. Why these people are making it very complicated? So,
Yeah, actually, whenever if the project is in the Spring and Spring Boot means generally we don't know Spring and how can we handle that? I mean, we are getting some kind of feeling like how to how to
somewhere you
get
are
on this.
struggling and yeah, complicated feeling you are getting.
Yeah,
Mm. It is easy
but
actually.
seeing the simple, I mean, first program like
Mm.
it's first program
It's
only, but
nothing.
still.
Throughout this, you'll feel the same thing. Once getting the realization, you feel okay, that's it.
Good,
Yeah.
Naveen. Thank you. Thanks for that confidence building. Yeah, I saw your videos like you have been here in the Durgas of past 8 years. I mean, I hope so.
Mm, from 2012, but that videos has given earlier in 2014.
Okay.
2014 recordings, almost the 6 years and 4 years, 10 years old videos.
Oh, okay, okay. That's great. That's great. Thank you. Thanks, Naveen. Thanks for everything. Thank you.
Yeah. So this link I shared, right? Again in the chat, you guys join there if you are not joined yet, okay? And yeah, if any questions, you can ping me anytime. You can speak with me, okay? That's it, guys. If you have no questions, I'll close the session for today. We'll catch up tomorrow. Get the regular link by tomorrow, okay? Please go through the payments and yeah. Anything, Deepak, you want to ask?
Oh, nothing, Naveen. Actually, I got an email with the demo links for the next 3 days or 4 days until 13, I think. Until 13th, I guess. Not sure.
Yeah, based on your payments, few done and few not done, right? So they must be
okay.
waiting. They don't
Oh,
want,
okay. Okay.
discontinue this line.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks, Naveen.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. See you tomorrow. Till then, have a good day.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.